Of a small change in White House plans. We had told you President Clinton would address the nation right now. That has been put off until 9:30 Eastern Time, about 30 minutes from now. All NBC programming before and after the Oval Office speech will be seen in its entirety. We'll see you in 30 minutes. Brian Williams, NBC News, New York.
This has been an NBC News special report. Crisis in Haiti. Reporting from Port-au-Prince, Tom Brokaw.
Good evening from the Haitian capital. Momentarily, we'll be hearing from President Clinton from the Oval Office as he addresses the American people tonight on the agreement that was reached in this capital between an American delegation led by President Carter and the military strongmen who have been leading Haiti. They are now prepared to step down from power, and at some point tomorrow, probably around midday, several battalions of American troops will move into Haiti to begin the preparations for the return to democracy here and the return to power of President Aristide. They will be doing that under a UN Resolution 940, but there will be no massive American military invasion tonight. Now let's go to the White House, the President of the United States.
My fellow Americans, I want to announce that the military leaders of Haiti have agreed to step down from power. The dictators have recognized that it is in their best interest and in the best interest of the Haitian people to relinquish power peacefully, rather than to face imminent action by the forces of the multinational coalition we are leading. Our objective over the last 3 years has been to make sure that the military dictators leave power and that the democratically elected government is returned. This agreement guarantees both those objectives. It minimizes the risks for American forces and the forces of the 24 nations of the international coalition. And the agreement maximizes the orderly transfer of power to Haiti's democratically elected government. This is a good agreement for the United States and for Haiti. The military leaders will leave. The United States and coalition forces will arrive beginning tomorrow, and they'll do so in conditions that are less dangerous, although still not without risk. It will be much easier to preserve human rights, and there is a real chance of a more orderly and less violent transfer of power. And to the supporters of President Aristide, he will be returned. I ask that all Haitians remember what President Aristide said just a couple of days ago. No vengeance, no violence, no retribution. This is a time for peace. That is what the United States is going, along with our coalition partners, to work for. As all of you know, at my request, President Carter, General Colin Powell, and Senator Sam Nunn went to Haiti to facilitate the dictator's departure just yesterday. I have been in constant contact with them for the last 2 days. They have worked tirelessly, almost around the clock, and I want to thank them for undertaking this crucial mission on behalf of all Americans. Just as important, I want also to thank the men and women of the United States Armed Forces. It was their presence and their preparations that played a pivotal part in this agreement. Under the agreement, the dictators have agreed to leave power as soon as the Haitian Parliament passes an amnesty law, as called for by the Governor's Island Agreement, but in any event, no later than October 15th. They've agreed to immediate introduction of troops from the international coalition, beginning, as I said, as early as tomorrow. They have also pledged to cooperate fully with the coalition troops during the peaceful transition of power, something we have wanted very much. I have directed United States forces to begin deployment into Haiti as a part of the UN coalition, and General Shelton, our commander, will be there tomorrow. The presence of the 15,000-member multinational force will guarantee that the dictators carry out the terms of the agreement. It is clear from our discussions with the delegation that this agreement only came because of the credible and imminent threat of the multinational force. In fact, it was signed After Haiti received evidence that paratroopers from our 82nd Airborne Division, based at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, had begun to load up to begin the invasion, which I had ordered to start this evening. Indeed, at the time the agreement was reached, 61 American planes were already in the air. Because of this agreement, the United States and other coalition troops going to Haiti will now be able to go under much more favorable conditions than they would have faced had the generals not decided to leave power. But let me emphasize that this mission still has its risks, and we must be prepared for them. Haiti is still a troubled country, and there remain possibilities of violence directed at American troops. But this agreement minimizes those risks and maximizes our chance to protect the human rights of all Haitians, both those who support President Aristide and those who oppose him, and to create an environment in which President Aristide can return, as he said, without violence, without vengeance, without retribution. Under the terms of United Nations Security Council Resolution 940, an international coalition from 25 nations will soon go into Haiti to begin the task of restoring democratic government. President Aristide will return to Haiti when the dictators depart. On Thursday night, I told you that the United States must act here to protect our interests, to stop the brutal atrocities that threaten tens of thousands of Haitians, to secure our borders and preserve stability and promote democracy in our hemisphere, to uphold the reliability of commitments we make to others and the commitments others make to us. This agreement furthers all these goals. From the beginning, I have said that the Haitian dictators must go. Tonight, I can tell you that they will go. And to our troops tonight who are headed to Haiti under less risky conditions, I am confident you will carry out your mission as you already have, effectively and professionally. We depend upon you to do well tomorrow as you have done so very well today and in the weeks and days before, when you planned this exercise, prepared for it, and then began to carry it out. To all of you, I say thank you. Your nation is proud of you. Good night, and God bless America.
President Clinton addressing the nation tonight from the Oval Office on the agreement that was struck here between two of the military rulers who have been running this country, Raul Cedras and Philip Biambi. A third man who was thought to be an active part of that triumvirate is Michel Francois. However, we are told tonight by high-level administration officials that he is no longer an active player in all of this. The fact is that these men, under the terms of this agreement, do not have to leave the country, although they have indicated that they will. The American troops that arrive tomorrow are expected to be here from 10 days to 2 weeks, according to high administration officials. Let's go to NBC's Ed Rabel now. Ed, we're told that they really did get the word, Biambi and Raul Cedras, when they got independent confirmation from their sources in the United States that the troops were leaving Fort Bragg for the invasion. So this thing was pretty close, wasn't it?
It was extremely close, and as we just learned, Tom, the H hour had been set up some days ago, and this was definitely the time they were going to come in. So not only was it close as far as the negotiations were concerned, but it was very close in terms of the delegation remaining in Haiti as long as they did, and the invasion forces in the air, even as the delegation was still on the ground.
Andrea Mitchell at the White House, what are the supporters of President Aristide saying about this deal? It does have some parts to it that have not been completely tied up. Are they happy?
They're on board. I'm not sure that they're entirely happy, but they have been briefed all day by William Gray, the special Haiti advisor, and by Anthony Lake, and that they are in agreement with this. Aristide will probably be announcing that later on. We ran into the president himself about 45 minutes ago, Tom, after another briefing at the White House. He looked a bit nervous because he was waiting to give this speech.
This agreement, from the Haitian general's standpoint, is, to put it bluntly, not bad. They have agreed to depart from power, to give up power, but there's nothing in this agreement that says that they have to depart the country. They have that option. That'll be up to them. There is an expectation that they may indeed want to leave the country for their own safety and other reasons, but that will be the general's choice according to this agreement. Now, very important, the president, the elected president of the country, Aristide, will be returned to power in this country. No specific timetable has been set for that, but the high administration official with whom I spoke this evening said that Aristide has agreed, he signed off on this whole agreement reached here in Port-au-Prince today. Let's go down to David Martin at the Pentagon. David, give us the sequence of events there, what happened and how it happened.
The planes began launching from Pope Air Force Base in North Carolina, which is the air base that serves the 82nd Airborne. Those planes began launching at about 7 p.m. Eastern Time this evening, and then about a half hour later, other planes started launching from Homestead Air Force Base. Our reporters there counted 17 planes, I believe, from Pope and another 6 from Homestead. Obviously, the president used a much larger number in his speech. He said 61 aircraft were in the air carrying paratroopers in their equipment. The plan called for airdropping an entire brigade of the 82nd Airborne. That's about 2,000 troops. And of course, that doesn't count all the troops that were on those aircraft carriers offshore. There were another 4,000 Army troops and 1,800 Marines. So this huge operation was starting to go down. I mean, it was still several hours away before planes were over their targets. But obviously, the order had been given, and I have never, in my experience, seen an operation reversed like this one before.
Just one more reason, David, why this was such an extraordinary day. It's worth pausing to note that former President Jimmy Carter and his negotiating team, which included Colin Powell and Sam Nunn of Georgia, worked virtually around the clock from the time they got here. And the Haitians were very impressed by how hard they worked and how well they listened. Now, General Powell was considered especially key because of the very high respect that the Haitian generals have for them. These pictures were taken as they went in and out of their meeting places. Now, CBS News was told by someone who was in the meetings that around 3 o'clock this afternoon, there was pressure put on President Carter saying, look, no final agreement, so get out of there. And that President Carter resisted that pressure and said, in effect, look, I'd like to stay a little while longer because I think I can get this done. With that as background, let's go to Rita Braver at the White House. Rita?
Well, Dan, I would say that a giant sigh of relief has run through this White House. One of those unusual circumstances that reporters have, and I know you covered this place for a long time, you know how rare it is. We ran into President Clinton in the White House just a little while before he made his speech. He was surrounded by many of his key advisors. He looked extremely somber. He shook my hand and that of a few other reporters. He seemed to be somewhat surprised to see us. We asked him if he was happy. He said yes. Someone said, can we say elated? He said no. He seems to be sort of calmly happy and reflecting on the seriousness of all of this. At that time, a reporter did say, did you order the invasion? And he nodded. As you mentioned, one of the key things that is yet to be determined is where the generals will go. A senior official told us a little while
Sounds like possibly that long.
Of a small change in White House plans. We had told you President Clinton would address the nation right now. That has been put off until 9:30 Eastern Time, about 30 minutes from now. All NBC programming before and after the Oval Office speech will be seen in its entirety. We'll see you in 30 minutes. Brian Williams, NBC News, New York.
This has been an NBC News special report.
Haiti. They are now prepared to step down from power, and at some point tomorrow, probably around midday, several battalions of American troops will move into Haiti to begin the preparations for the return to democracy here and the return to power of President Aristide. They will be doing that under a UN Resolution 940, but there will be no massive American military invasion tonight. Now let's go to the White House, the President of the United States.
crisis in Haiti. Reporting from Port-au-Prince, Tom Brokaw.
Good evening from the Haitian capital. Momentarily, we'll be hearing from President Clinton from the Oval Office as he addresses the American people tonight on the agreement that was reached in this capital between an American delegation led by President Carter and the military strongmen who have been leading.
My fellow Americans, I want to announce that the military leaders of Haiti have agreed to step down from power. The dictators have recognized that it is in their best interest and in the best interest of the Haitian people to relinquish power peacefully, rather than to face imminent action by the forces of the multinational coalition we are leading. Our objective over the last 3 years has been to